better watch what you say. You better watch what you do to me.
President Obama presented his own plan to cut the deficit.
A $200,000 tax cut that's paid for by asking 33 seniors each to pay $6,000 more in health costs. And it's not going to happen as long as I'm president.
Soon after the speech, Republicans went on the attack.
The only concrete proposal that he proposed was raising taxes.
Everybody say, when I found you. So it is a Barack Obama update.
Oh, I just can't wait to be king.
Of all people to address the nation about budget deficits, a liberal Democrat, always a lot of fun to hear their plan. Well, again, you have to ask the question, which will be asked at the end of this. You might remember the great speech that actor Jack Nicholson made in the movie The Witches of Eastwick, when he said, when it comes to women, you have to ask the question, did God make a mistake? If not, then he did it to us on purpose. And the thing you have to say when it comes to this, either they are completely asinine fools when it comes to math and economics, or they know what they're doing, and it's simply to enslave a large number of voters for them to stay in power. It's one or the other.
Well, Rick, do we have any of the sound bites, Speedy, before I get into this?
No, go ahead.
There was a budget proposal put forward by Paul Ryan that was a difficult budget to swallow. Rick, let me tell you where we are. You ever been to a party on Saturday night that was really rocking back in your college days? I mean, you thought this is awesome.
The right band, the right everything.
Everything was going good. Somewhere in the night, you kind of lost yourself. Sunday morning comes and the sunlight beams down on your face and you wake up and you're out in the yard and the house is completely trashed.
Right.
And you begin the process, as painful and as agonizing as it is, of getting up, trying to figure out where something is to drink.
Right.
Getting a trash bag and a shovel and start cleaning up after the party.
And here we go.
And that's where we're at. That is where we are as a nation. Somebody, we're on y'all. Our interest. We've what we've done. We've gotten a room, and we've pulled the fuse on a ticking time bomb, and now we're arguing about what we're going to do about it while the clock is ticking. Now, doomsday. No, this is what it is. Our interest payments alone on our extreme debt is going to overtake what we can do. Have you ever been in that boat personally? Yes.
Yes.
Many of us have. So, personally, then you find somebody to bail you out, you refinance. If things get too bad, you go down, you file bankruptcy and start over. Many folks have had to do that. It can be a very painful and long-term thing to get over.
Of course, that doesn't solve spending, though, even if you do that.
You gotta
make a move
when you file bankruptcy, they pretty much take away your ability to go out and do that in a lot of cases. And politicians don't have that in a democracy. So what we have is we've had politicians from both sides of the aisle for many, many years who have played to ignorant voters, promised them things that they really had no business or no constitutional authority to give them. We've had judges who had good hearts and big hearts and wanted to help everybody who have not stood up and declared these things unconstitutional. They've let them go. The party has rolled on. Baby, let's go. We got another hour. Keep the band playing. And we're coming to Sunday morning sunlight very soon.
You know what it reminds me? Yeah, it reminds me, Bubba, because I heard them talking about this the other night, and we've all been there and we were struggling, where your credit card company says you have no more credit.
Right.
And then you call them and you're crying, and they said, well, would you like to raise your credit limit? And you're like, oh, hellfire, yes.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And they go, well, hey, we'd be happy to do that. And so they raise your credit, then you just get yourself deeper in it. And then
right,
every time you come to them saying, I think I'm done, they go, well, would you like for us to raise that credit limit a little more? And that's what's happening to us.
And Rick, we had a candidate come on the scene, Barack Hussein Obama, who came in and blasted George Bush for his deficits and his handling of things when we had a few $1 trillion in debt. And we look around today, and now we have $14 trillion in debt. So what candidate Barack Obama did not like and fiercely dogged the president about, he has taken and made it, 5 to 6 times worse. So, there's a bit of, you kind of scratch your head and turn it sideways and go, if you're a logical person and go, I don't quite follow this. So the president has decided that he is in somewhat of a corner, not only for his own political life now, but for re-election and for historical sakes. And they said, we do need to do something about this deficit. We need to knock this thing down $4 trillion over the next 12 years, which is always interesting to me how politicians will factor in something that they won't even be there to see. Right. Do you what he's saying?
I can come up with all kinds of plans for the person who's got to do it after me.
Here's the thing. This is like saying,
I'll tell you what I'm going to do after I leave. Next guy.
This is like saying, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to end this party tomorrow after I leave tonight at 11 o'clock.
That's exactly
I'm
right.
headed out at 11, and the rest of your poor slobs will get the shovels out and clean this mess up after I'm gone.
Right.
So
I could go to my mortgage company and come up with all sorts of payments that would pay my house off after I sell it to someone else.
And Rick, you have documented on this show so many times the disaster of what we call the free T-shirt.
Oh, here we go.
And everyone falls under this, okay? Everybody has a need to get something free, something they didn't earn, something that makes life easier. Look, we like to win free cars. We like to win lotteries. We like to get a free T-shirt. We like a free Coke. We like free snacks. Give me a free this, a free that. I want my medical. I mean, it's a fun thing to get free stuff. Nobody's denying that. But there's a fundamental problem. Somebody had to pay for it. Now, we have turned this country into a situation, and while we're at the tipping point, where we have about 50.1% getting free stuff and putting nothing into the system, and the other 49.9% toting the bill. Well, the 49.9% have pretty much had enough. The short-term history, 3 times we have had a tax rate decrease across the board that affected the rich people.
And everybody else.
Everybody else, but I'm going to focus on rich because,
which, by the way, everybody's rich though,
right,
to the government.
Yeah, if you make more than $40,000 a year, you're rich.
Right,
you're rich in government numbers. We've done it 3 times. JFK, Ronald Reagan, George W. Bush. Each time, the Treasury of the United States of America did not lose any money. It gained money. It went up.
And what else happened? The economy started churning.
The economy boomed.
You know why? Because you told the rich people, hey, by the way, you got nothing to fear. You know what I mean? You got nothing to fear.
You calm their fears. You release them to do what they do, and that is invest and make money. Look, rich people don't just get lucky. I mean, there's a few, granted. Most of them get there because they've worked, they're smart, they understand the economics of the situation, they provide a service that somebody wants, and they do a good job at it, so they get to keep doing it. So these people, they know, I mean, it's kind of like, why did God create? Because it was his personality. He needed to. He wanted to. He wanted to share his love. He wanted to show what he could do. People who are good at business and creating jobs love to do that. That's what they do. They want to brood over a business. They want it to start and grow and do better and better and get bigger buildings and more employees. They take pride in that. That's what they do. It's their hobby. It's their passion. And and guess who benefits? Those of us who work for them. Let me ask you this: our parent company here, our main partner is Cox Radio. The 2 Cox sisters, one of them is deceased now, were 2 of the richest women in the world. Both of them were multi-billionaires. Okay, so we have a Cox sister left, and if the president comes in and takes money away from her that she has earned, is she more than likely going to come to her employees and to her partners in the Rick and Bubba show and go, you've done a good job. I want to invest more in you. Or is she more than likely to go, I'm going to take my money and go overseas and hide it and keep it and protect it? Rich people did not get rich by letting people take their money. They're very good at not letting people take their money. That's why you're not going to get it this time, Mr. President. Right. They have ways around it. All you're doing you're preaching to ignorant masses who think, again, I'm going to get a free lunch. But they're the ones that's going to pay for it, and they don't even know it.
We'll be right back.
Rick and Bubba, Rick and Bubba.
I am your show, but it seems I'm having the good times just a little bit more in focus. All right, Renee, we held Renee over from the break. Now, Renee heard the president's speech, and she heard us trying to talk about how capitalism and the free market works and how attacking the rich or the job providers has never produced the end product that politicians tell us it should produce. Well, Renee called up and says, well, now you're missing a point. Hey, I don't make much money, and we all work hard, and my employee is rich, and I don't care whether they get hammered or not. And then Bubba began to talk to Renee, and if Renee would listen, I believe that we can walk through this a little bit. Because, Renee, I think you have the mentality of a lot of Americans, but unfortunately, this is the mentality that keeps getting us in trouble.
Well, no, I disagree with that. But the point that I'm trying to make is that there are some wealthy people, and they don't care how hard you work for them. They don't care how many hours you put in. They don't care what kind of work you produce, whether you're a lazy person or a person that gets after it and gets the job done. They will not pay you more because they're busy padding their pockets. And y'all have to
Renee,
my gosh, boy, you are following the Pied Piper, my friend.
Renee, we understand your point, but can I address that?
All right,
Renee, do you get a raise for not listening? Let me ask you that. Renee, here.
I don't get a raise for listening.
I figured that out.
Hey, by the way, you've got an awesome attitude.